Meet Stoffel, the cleverest critter. Crikey, what a little beauty. Today we're talking about a true legend, a little animal with a massive heart and a brain to match. His name is Stoffel, and he's a honey badger. Now, honey badgers are famous all over the world. The record books even call them the most fearless animals on the planet. They might not be very big, only about a foot tall, but they have the courage of a full-grown lion. They're absolute champions of survival, taking on everything from venomous snakes to much larger predators. They just don't back down from anything. But Stoffel, he's extra special. He's not just brave, he's a genius, a proper little Houdini of the Bushveld. His story is one of incredible intelligence and a will to be free that you just have to admire. He lives at a sanctuary with his keeper, a good bloke named Brian. Brian's job is to keep Stoffel safe, especially after the little fella had a dangerous run-in with some lions. Those lions mauled him badly, so Brian knew he had to build a strong, safe home for him. But keeping a honey badger like Stoffel contained is a massive challenge. You see, a honey badger's mind is always working, always figuring things out. For their size, they have remarkably large brains, which makes them incredibly smart little critters. They are natural problem solvers, and Stoffel is the absolute master. He sees a wall not as a barrier but as a puzzle to be solved. He looks at his enclosure and thinks, right, how am I getting out of this one? It's not about being naughty, it's just in his nature to explore, to overcome, and to prove that nothing can hold him back for long. Stoffel's reputation as an escape artist is known far and wide. He's a little animal superstar. People are fascinated by his clever tricks and his sheer, stubborn determination. He reminds us that you don't have to be the biggest or the strongest to be a true force of nature. Sometimes a bit of clever thinking and a whole lot of courage are all you need to take on the world. Stoffel embodies that spirit perfectly. He's a wild heart in a small package, and his adventures are a brilliant reminder of how amazing our planet's animals truly are. Brian, Stoffel's keeper, tried everything to build a pen that could hold him. He built walls high and strong, thinking that would be enough. But for Stoffel, a wall is just a suggestion. The first enclosure had some trees inside. What a mistake that was. Stoffel, being a brilliant climber, simply shimmied up a tree trunk, walked out onto a branch that was hanging over the wall, and plopped himself down on the other side. Too easy. He was out and about before Brian even knew what had happened. He's a true master of mayhem, that one. So Brian got to work again. He cut down all the trees and any branches that were near the wall. He thought, right, that's sorted. No more climbing for you, mate. But he underestimated the mind of a honey badger. Stoffel looked around his new treeless home and wasn't bothered one bit. He just found a new solution. He started gathering rocks from around the pen. He would push them with his back feet, rolling them one by one into a corner until he had a pile big enough to use as a ladder. He'd climb his rock pile and hop right over the wall. Absolutely brilliant. Brian couldn't believe his eyes. This little badger was outsmarting him at every turn. So, he cleared out all the rocks. The pen was now completely empty, just dirt walls and a wire fence on top. Surely this time Stoffel would have to stay put, but no, not Stoffel. He looked at the bare ground and saw an opportunity. He started digging up clumps of mud, rolling them into big solid balls. He'd roll a mud ball over to the wall, pack it down, and use it as a step to freedom. He made his own tools. What an incredible display of animal intelligence. The most famous escape, though, involved something Brian left behind by accident. He left a garden rake in the enclosure. Well, for Stoffel, that wasn't just a rake, it was a ladder waiting to happen. He grabbed the rake, dragged it across the pen, and propped it right up against the wall. Then, he climbed it like a professional, scaling the handle to get to the top and make his getaway. Brian insists he never trained him to do any of this. Stoffel is just a self-taught genius, a true escape artist who sees the world as one big, wonderful puzzle. After so many escapes, Brian thought maybe Stoffel was a little bit lonely. He decided to get him a friend, a female honey badger named Hammy. The hope was that having a companion would keep Stoffel busy and maybe, just maybe, he'd finally settle down in his pen. Bringing Hammy into the enclosure was a big moment. Everyone watched to see how the two honey badgers would get along. At first it seemed like a good idea. Stoffel had a mate to play with, and things seemed a bit calmer in the badger Alcatraz, as Brian called it. But Brian forgot one very important thing. Two honey badger brains are even better than one. Instead of teaching Hammy to stay put, Stoffel taught her how to escape. He found a new partner in crime. The gate to their enclosure had two bolts on it, one at the bottom and one at the top, to make it extra secure. It was a lock system designed to be too complicated for an animal to figure out. But for Stoffel and Hammy, it was just a cooperative challenge that they were more than ready to take on together. Their teamwork was a thing of beauty. Stoffel, the experienced lockpicker, would go to the gate and start working on the bottom bolt. He'd use his claws and his teeth to slide it open, but he couldn't open the top one at the same time. So, he would hold the bottom bolt open with all his might, keeping it from sliding back into place. That was Hammy's cue. While Stoffel held the first lock, she would climb up his back, or up the wire of the gate itself, to get to the top bolt. What a clever girl. With perfect timing, Hammy would then unlatch the second bolt, and just like that, the gate would swing open. Freedom! They would trot out together, ready for their next adventure. This wasn't just a lucky accident, they did it over and over again. It was a planned, coordinated effort between two incredibly intelligent animals. They were communicating and working together to achieve a common goal. It just goes to show you the amazing social intelligence these little critters have. They're not just fearless, they're brilliant collaborators. Stoffel's adventures didn't just stop at escaping his pen. Oh no, he was far more ambitious than that. One time, after a successful breakout, he decided to pay Brian a little visit. He made his way to Brian's house, a place he probably saw as the ultimate prize. But the doors and windows were all closed. Was that a problem for Stoffel? Of course not. He managed to break a window, climb inside the house, and wander through the rooms until he found Brian's bedroom. Imagine waking up to a honey badger standing at your door. What a shock that would be. This little fella's story is so incredible because it shows us what honey badgers are really like. They are tough, yes, but they are also thinkers and planners. Stoffel wasn't just trying to cause trouble, he was being a honey badger. He was using his natural-born intelligence and insatiable curiosity to explore his world and overcome any obstacle in his path. Brian's many attempts to build a badger-proof pen weren't failures. They were just new levels in a game that Stoffel was determined to win, and he always did, with style and cleverness. People all over the world admire Stoffel, and it's easy to see why. He represents a spirit we all love, the spirit of the underdog who never gives up. He is small but mighty, clever but humble, and absolutely unstoppable. He teaches us that you should never underestimate someone based on their size. He also shows us the power of persistence. When one plan doesn't work, you don't just quit. You find another way. You roll some rocks, you make a mud ball, or you grab a rake. You find a solution. Stoffel is more than just an escape artist, he is an inspiration. He's a wild spirit that refuses to be tamed, a brilliant mind that is always one step ahead. His story is a beautiful, funny, and awe-inspiring look into the animal kingdom. It reminds us to look closer at the creatures we share this planet with because they have so much to teach us about resilience, intelligence, and living life to the absolute fullest. Stoffel is a true legend, and his legacy of clever escapes will be told for years to come. What a champion.